welcome to another episode of the Dramasology podcast. In this episode, I am going to be doing a review of a drama I am currently watching titled The Princess Royal. This is a 2024 drama that has aired 17 of the 40 episodes, and I have watched about 11 of it or 12 of it. And so this is really a first impressions of this drama. The Princess Royal is a Chinese drama that is starring Zhao Jinmai as Li Rong, who is this princess of a reigning dynasty. She is married to Pei Wenxuan, played by Zhang Linghe, who is the prime minister, and they are a couple that is at odds with one another. Probably because they were an arranged marriage, they had a lot of baggage, I would say, coming into the relationship, and so their relationship broke down due to misunderstandings, miscommunications, and whatnot. They both end up dying and go back in time to the moment before they got married, and so they have to decide in the second life if they want to be together again and whether it is advantageous for them. The issue again, like I said, they hate each other right, because of all the misunderstandings and miscommunications they've had. So really, I would say for Li Rong, the princess, she really does not want to be with him again, whereas I feel like Pei Wenxuan, the prime minister, is more on the fence. But you can almost see the love they have for one another because of just how much hate that you see them displaying their first life, right? And so that they have something there that they are not addressing, or should I say the catalyst to their misunderstanding and their breakup and their separation is the fact that they are hurt by one another. And so the second life is almost like a second chance for them to do things better, to do things right. And I would say that this is where the strong point of this drama comes in that the second chance that they get, the second life that they are living, they actually do things well this time, right? So you don't get a sense of that, so you guys have a second life while you've been the same kinds of people, why are you making the same mistakes? No, in this second life, I feel like they actually take the efforts, put in the efforts to be better, So yeah, like I said, this is starring Zhang Jinmai, who I know from Reset. That is one of the favorite dramas that I love, in terms of Chinese dramas, is one of my favorite. But she was also in Amidst a Snowstorm of Love, and that's another drama with Ule that I really liked. But again, Reset is, I think, that drama for me, and so seeing her in this, she's not a new face for me. Same with Zhang Linghe. He has not been in a lot of things I have liked, but I will say he was in Kuning Palace, and I really, really, really like Kuning Palace. He shined in that drama. So yeah, they are two recognizable people, and so it's very easy for me to watch this drama. Because I've only watched the first 11 episodes, I can only speak on that. I don't know how this drama is going to end up, but I feel like if they follow the same pattern they are right now and, just put in the effort with the relationships between the characters, I think this is going to be a fantastic drama overall. I had no plans to watch this drama, honestly, because again, I've been so into Thai BLs these days that I haven't had time for any other drama. But, I was like, I want to try something different. And this drama was what just popped up on my feed. And so I was like, let's try that and see how it is. And I am glad I did. Before I watched this drama, I will say that I did not realize I had read the book, but I had. Right, so this is based on a book that I remember reading on my novel updates. One of my favorite genres, if you know me, is the rebirth trope, and that is what this is as well. So I was on this, right? And so I remember reading the novel, and I can say I think it was a boring read, in that so I like my female lead to be the protagonist of any rebirth drama I watch. And so in this case, it's kind of split between the two of them. And I think they even share POVs. I don't recall, really. I think they did. So I think that's probably why I wasn't as invested in their novel. But I remember it being okay. I just remember being a little bored with it, but I remember it being okay. And they really work a lot of things out in their second life together. So yeah, if you've not checked out the novel, I think you should as well. We'll give you a more I'll say holistic idea of what this drama is referencing and adapting. So recommend it, give it a shot. It's on my novelupdates.com. But yeah, moving on, just to talk about the things that made me decide to make a review, first impressions about this drama. I think I was just overall, like I mentioned, impressed with the direction of the couple, with the growth of the couple. I will say when the first episode aired, it was very obvious to me that like they had feelings for one another, in that you could tell they had gone through a lot together. You could tell they had lived a long life, right? They both looked weary, they both looked tired. Lirong, the princess, was sick by this point. Surongchin, yeah, was already an eunuch. And so there's a lot that has happened by this point, right? And so you see their relationship, but you still see that there's a sense of care for one another. At least, should I say there's a sense of care from Pewen, in that you can tell he cares for Lirong still, right? Even amongst this whole political world, right? And so I was immediately taken by that, and I was like, yeah, I gotta watch the next episode, right? So watching them be reborn, my biggest fear was that Lirong's character would keep making the same mistakes, because even from the first episode I could tell there was something saucy, there was something suspicious about Surongchin, the eunuch, right? In that, like, I knew that it wasn't obviously Pei Wen-shuan who tried to kill her, or who killed her, right? And so when she was like so pissed and had him killed, I knew there was something more at play, right? And so in the second life I was like, oh my god, if they drag out this part with Surongchin and they make it like a whole huge misunderstanding, I will be so angry. And so I was really, really glad that, like, after the first few episodes, like when they had to like run away and hide from the Yangs, right, they kind of like walked through it and communicated, and I was like blown away. You don't understand, I was blown away. This never happens. So in Chinese dramas that are like 40 episodes long, no, they would drag out the miscommunication as long as they can. And so I have to give it up to that. Pei Wen-shuan's character is someone that likes to communicate, right? And I will also say Lirong's character is reasonable, right? She's written to be reasonable, so she's not too emotional. She realizes the mistake she made in her first life, and she wants to fix it. She's also not lovesick, right? So even though she liked Surongchin at a point, she also liked Pei Wen-shuan as well. She is grounded in her own values, right? So one thing in the first life that was an issue for her, and they talk about this in the second life, was that she knew that Pei Wen-shuan liked her, but she was also very angry. Or should I say, that was why she was very angry, when I think she misunderstood that he also liked his first love, right? The crown prince's like concubine. So that's something that you could tell she had enough values in her. She had her own bottom line that she was like, I don't care if you like me. The fact that you like somebody else is a deal breaker, right? And even though she tried to communicate with him in the first life, she tried to get him to speak for some reason, again, because plot has to move on. They need a misunderstanding. Like, Pei Wen-shuan's character doesn't say a thing to like refute her initial thought, like the initial misunderstanding that she has about Qinzhen. And so I really like that about this drama. They write the characters very, very well, and so at this point I am very much enjoying it, right? Again, I was so taken aback by the initial clearing up of all the misunderstanding they had, even from the beginning, where they are at the princess's like palace and they're trying to choose a prince consort for her, right? Pei Wen-shuan obviously cares for her. Lirong obviously is trying not to care for him, but even still she listens to him when it makes sense, right? And so even though she has a lot of like things that she kind of is angry about, she's able to still listen to him and see his like point of view, and see that he's right in like telling her that it would be a mistake for her to choose Surongchin because of his family and because he's from a noble house, right? And so I really like that they could communicate even though they had all this misunderstanding already, right? So again, power couple already. Right, they are already a power couple. They talk things out, they solve things together. I also really like the fact that they did not drag out their relationship in the second life. And so in the first life, they were married and everything, right? And so in the second life, I expected that to happen as well. I expected them to get married, and that was the, thing I was looking forward to. And I'm glad that they fulfilled that, because I would have hated if they were like all lovey-dovey but didn't have any like real tie to one another. And so when they started that investigation, I was like, is this what they're gonna do? Are they gonna like drag out and do investigations and do all sorts, but not like be together like actually as a couple? But I'm glad that like the marriage happened and they are actually husband and wife, and like they have legitimate reason to be with one another and like plot things that they plot, the nefarious things, and like, you know, all the things that they've thought about, right, together. And so I just like that it's like this couple thing that they just have, you know, for one another, and it's just beautiful and I love it. And it's almost like it's two of them against the world, and it's beautiful, right? Another thing I would say in this is that because thankfully I cannot remember all the plot that happened in the novel, I am actually looking forward to a lot of like what is going to happen. I actually don't know. I don't remember, right? And that like with the crown prince, I don't know if he's going to end up with Chinjenje and the girl he loves. I don't know if he's going to end up having to marry the girl from the Shangwan family, right? Like I don't know anything and I don't remember, and I look forward to all that because this drama does a good enough job in like making you anticipate a lot of things. They give you enough suspense that you feel that there's still some mystery, there's still some possible conflict that is to come, even between our like coalition of like good people. So when I say like our coalition, like Suronchin, Li Chuan, the, you know, crown prince, Shangwan Ya, the girl that ends up being the empress in the first life, and then Chinjenjen, right? So you still feel that there's still some conflict that can break out, because these are all people with different, or with family that have different motives for why they do what they do. They have different things that's like pushing them to do what they do, and that can still affect the relationship that they have. So I really like that. I like that, you know that our leads will somehow still succeed, I feel like, because they are so tightly knit and they already have their happy ending in a way, in that they don't know they have their happy ending, but like we know that like now that they're married, it's all about just putting in the work together, and just making sure no like miscommunication happens, like no conflict, misunderstanding happens, and that they will be able to get through anything together if they just put their two minds together. Because Pei Wen-shuan, like in the one scene where he's like telling Lirong that it's her choice, right? In that like Lirong was asking him that like what should she do with Chinjenjen, right? And he's like he will follow what she wants, right? And you know it was just so sweet, and you just know that in this new life is smart, is, you know, cunningness, is cleverness is going to be used for her, right, to make her achieve the things she wants to achieve. That's the kind of husband he's going to be in the second life. He's just going to be the doting husband in the second life, right? And I just love that, right? I also love the scene where also in that prison when you know they are locked up, because I mean they had such good communication then. It's funny because that was the moment that Pei Wen-shuan realizes that Chinjenjen actually never liked him, right? And it was funny seeing Li Rong also like witness that moment, that like there was actually never anything between the two of them, and it was just so funny. But again, one thing I like about that prison scene is that that was the moment where like you see just how much they know one another, right? In that like Li Rong recognizes that Pei Wen-shuan likes her. She knows that he liked her, right, in their first life, right? And that was obviously never an issue, right, for her. In the sense that even Pei Wen-shuan was shocked that like, oh, so you knew I liked you. And again, I just squealed when he said that like, oh, you knew I liked you. And it was, oh gosh, it was so cute. But she was like, yeah, I knew you liked me. And I knew you were conflicted about liking Chinjenjen as well. And again, Sunwadi, the moment where he like responds and it's like that was not the issue that I had. That was not his conflict. His sense of conflict came from the fact that he liked her and he felt that like he was losing himself because of who she was, right? It feels like he was bowing to their power as opposed to like, you know, being his own self, and he felt like he was losing out. Like bowing to her was like equivalent to bowing and, you know, being submissive to the overall power, and he hated that, right? So I remember swooning about that. Like I was like, oh my god, that is so like cute. Like again, they're so cute, guys. But that scene was so like you know how you hear like direct confessions and then you hear confessions like this. This is not like a real confession, but like it's the kind of thing that like you just know. For him to say something like that, obviously she was his whole world and she didn't even know, right? And so I was like dying. I was like, that is so like he's so in love and like she didn't even know, right? Because I mean he fell in love at first sight. Like he saw her once, like on the day they got married, and he liked her instantly. And like she was like, I felt that like you felt your love was like fickle. And so they do a really good job in like balancing the romance and the politics between the two of them. Their dynamic is very interesting in that like Pei Shuan will tell Li Rong the truth and only the truth. He is always honest with her, even if she doesn't want to hear it. Even if she's pissed, even if she, hates what he's going to say, he's going to say it at least, right? And you can always trust him on that, right? The same with Li Rong, right? Like she's like so tough on him, so serious, and expects like his full attention even though she won't admit it, right? So I just love that dynamic that they have going on, because again, it's not the regular lovey-dovey, because the regular lovey-dovey is fake to me. And I've said this before in another of my episode, that one thing that always pulls me out of like a drama and makes me not finish it is if, once the characters fall in love, they lose who they are, or they stop being who they are and just become like this love, right? So their character kind of like disappears, right? And that just makes the drama boring. In this drama, it's not like that. Like, even though you know that Pei Shuan kind of loves Li Rong, and Li Rong is definitely like reluctant, but she also kind of loves him already, or just extending from her first life. They are still who they are, and they do not compromise that. And so I really like that about this. I like the fact that you can kind of predict how they will act because they are still themselves, even though they are in love, right? It's funny because not a lot of people see this love between these two, right? Maybe because they play it well, maybe because they are playing like a kind of like show for the king to kind of trust Pei Shuan. But like, see, I feel like it's not something that is obvious, right? Even like Li Chuan, the Wrong's brother, the crown prince, mentions that, oh, but you also married out of duty. And I'm just looking at him like, don't even, because your sister actually married for love. You just don't know, because he was feeling bad and everything. I was like, my guy, like, your sister is fine. Like, she's thriving and she kind of loves her husband. She's just like, so it obviously isn't showing to everybody, right? But they know, right? They are, I would say, maids. They are the people that serve them know. And I have to say, those people, like their maids, their attendants, they are also cute, and I just love watching them react to the main couple as well. It's very, very well done too in that way. But yeah, I just love how their romance is shown but not really shown, right? It makes it almost an intimate thing that we the viewers get like a peek into, and not everybody else is privy to this information, right? So I really, really like that. They do a good job in that. I hope that this drama keeps getting better. There are a lot of things that they have to solve together as a couple, and I hope that it doesn't break them up. Or even if they have like misunderstandings, that they work it out. They are very good at that currently, and I hope they keep being good at that. One obstacle that I am worried about is Li Chuan and Qin Zhen, because you can tell Li Chuan, like, the crown prince really, really likes her. He liked her in the first life and he likes her in the second life, and Li Rong is very, very scared about that fact because he changes once Qin Zhen dies in the first life. So that's something I hope that they are able to like get her to be empress, since she isn't just like a nobody, right? She comes from a powerful family, a military family as well. So there is some benefit to having her be empress, as opposed to like Shangguan Yan, who I will say is also a really well written character, right? In that, like, she's never jealous in the first life, right? This was not a life she wanted for herself, and she could care less that the king was in love with the concubine, right? She was almost just exasperated. She was almost just tired. She was never jealous. And I really like how they wrote her character to be real, right? They wrote her character to want things for herself, right? To exist almost outside of the purview of the king of the Tran, the king at that time, right? So I really like how they wrote her. I like the fact that in the second life she has someone that she's kind of falling in love with. I don't know if they would take that far or farther, because there's a hint there, but you don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, again, Li Rong and Pei Wenxuan are able to like work their magic, and their machinations can somehow work in favor of all the couples, so that this is a happy ending, right? But yeah, that's really it. I give this drama a 10 out of a 10 for now. I think it's well done. I love it so much, and honestly, you should be watching this if you're not. It's so good, even if you're just watching it for the main couple, right? Because they start off married and it just makes the drama so good because that is out of the way, right? So yeah, definitely check this out if you've not watched it. It's very good. One thing I will say too, just about like Chinese dramas and adaptations, is that they never adapt the novels that I want. Like, okay, this one is a good one that they adapted, but like I would like more of those like phoenix rise from like being a maid to being empress kind of stories. I guess it's not realistic, but like the only one I can think of is like Story of Yanxi Palace. But like she was a comedian in that, and that was kind of what he fell in love with. I want something that is more serious. There's this really popular book, Job of an Imperial Concubine, and I really like that book. And I was like, can't they adapt that kind of book? Like I want books about iron fights, but that like it's still a one man, one woman love story. Even though that the emperor like has a billion wives, right? Like I want a story like that. Another one is Counterattack of the Cannon Fodder Chambermaid. That's another like very good book that is more serious, but it's so well done that I'm like, I want to see that on the big screen. They always adapt like stories with action and stuff. Like, just give me a like basic story, like Story of Mainland kind of story, right? That's just coming of age and a love story of like the female protagonist. I want something like that. Somebody make that a story, please. Like make that a drama, please. So yeah, anyways, rant over. That's it for this episode. Again, check out The Princess Royal if you're not watching it. It's very good. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I'll see you guys again next week. Have a lovely day. Bye.